Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the Badger Den. I am Badger. Today in my video, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to help you kind of navigate Spellforce Conquest of You here. So to start off, I'm going to say when you first get in the game, you start off with that 3 stack. In that 3 stack, you got your special minion for your class. The Alchemist minion, Artificer minion, and the Necromancy minion. Now, that minion is super important. Now, once you kind of go through that little beginner section, I would highly suggest that you take that minion, you dis uh, you remove him from that stack and make him his own stack, and then you send him around to collect whatever resource you are wanting to collect. So, be it an artificer, you want to send him around to all of the ore nodes and have him start collecting ore for you. Same with the alchemist, you want to send him to all the plants and start collecting as many plants for you as possible. The earlier you start that, the better it is for you. The more plants, the more ore, the more you can create. So that is tip number one. Super important. Tip number two is when you get your first apprentice is you want to build the lodge as soon as possible. And that goes for all future apprentices. The sooner you can build their lodge, the sooner you can expand your domain, the sooner you can start collecting all the other resources. Also, apprentices will revive at their lodges. Super important. Now, at some point, you will get a revive spell, but that costs mana. So, by building their lodge as soon as you can, it gives you a free method of revival. Now, obviously, the revival takes time. I think it's about 7 turns, but 7 turns is nothing, especially when you got to spend, I think it's like 60 or 80 mana per revival. That's a lot of mana. Especially if you're a necromancer, which is a mana hungry class, because all your undead uh, upkeep is done with mana. So spending mana willy nilly is not something you want to do. So you want to get that done. Other tip is once you are able to move your spire, start looking at spots to move your spire. 2, you always want to be on the hunt for uh, condensed resourced areas so you can increase your mana, increase your gold, research, um, be on the hunt for landmarks. Landmarks are always great spots. Now, if you start in the Alluvion, there are 2 great landmarks to your west. You'll come in contact with the Bastion, and if you go through the quest line of the Bastion, there is a landmark to the west of that Bastion called Storm Eagle Castle or something like that. And then just at the bottom of that one, there is a Phantom Shipwreck. Now, those 2 landmarks are great. The Storm Eagle Castle gives all your units the ability to swim, so to traverse water, and the Phantom Shipwreck allows you to recruit Spectral Warriors. That is a great early stage boost for you. They are great. They require mana, not money, and they're pretty decent warriors. So those 2 landmarks at the start of the game, if you spawn in the Alluvion, so that is just west of the Alluvion, you'll hit the Bastion, and then shortly west of that, you'll find the Phantom Shipwreck and Storm Eagle Castle, I believe it's called. It's Storm something. I'm pretty sure it's Eagle, but yeah. So always be on the hunt for those special landmarks that allow you to recruit special units. Those will really boost you. Always be on the hunt for units that, when leveled up, give you resource collecting abilities. So a lot of human troops allow the harvesting ability. Dwarven troops allow the mining ability. It saves you space on glyphs, um, and allows you for better glyphs. Some very important glyphs to be on the lookout for are traversal glyphs. There is a mountain goat glyph. Usually it is the red one, and that allows your units to traverse mountains. That is by far the best glyph in the game, to my point of view. It is phenomenal. You can traverse anywhere on the map if you have that glyph. Now, that being said, glyphs like your harvesting glyphs or traversal glyphs should always, always, always go in your apprentice. Because even when your apprentice dies, when they are revived with those glyphs. Super, super important. You don't want to put those glyphs in your troops because when the troop dies, glyph gone. Traversal glyphs, if you're not an artificer, are hard to come by. So you always want to be putting them in your apprentices. Damage glyphs or change damage type glyphs like that, those are okay to throw in your units because that's what they're meant for. Those traversal glyphs, unless they're like a high tier unit that you know is going to survive most battles, don't be putting those glyphs in them, because if you're not an artificer, they are hard to come by, and you don't want to lose that traversal, because it allows you to maneuver way better around the map, avoid mobs, get behind things, especially if there's a high level mob tier that's, say, blocking a route. You can get around them super, super easy. Yeah, and just make sure that you are always moving your castle, your spire. Always move it. Um, and just generally, I feel like once you get that done, uh, once you kind of have that sorted, you are on a really good path track. Now, I would suggest at the start of the game, when you go and build uh, either your alchemy lab or your glyph smithy or the necromancy one, always build the workshop as well. Now, that'll leave you with practically no gold at the beginning of the game, but that workshop is really important because it immediately adds 3 gold to your income, allowing for you to recruit more troops. Super important, I think. Allows you to field a bigger army faster, thus clearing more zones and clearing more area for you to move your spire around. Now, I believe once you are able to get all that done, you should have no problem progressing through the rest of the game easy peasy. If you follow these quick and easy steps, I feel like you should be able to master this game no time at all and have a great time doing it, okay? This is a tips and tricks for Spellforce Conquest EO coming out of the Badger Den with yours truly, Badger. I hope these tips and tricks help you guys. I want you guys to have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you on my next video. Take it easy.